In the previous video, we set up our own image to run AskEquarium. So now what we're going to do, since we've thoroughly tested our image, we're going to make it available on Docker Hub. So let's see how that goes. So the first thing we need to do is sign up for an account on Docker Hub. I already have an account, so I logged in, and notice my account name is Trisha. So I'm going to create a repository. So when you create a repository, I'm going to create it for AskEquarium, so I'm going to call it AAQ, so I don't have to spell AskEquarium. So watch, let's call it watch painlessly soothing fishies. So there's no need to install anything. We should be able to run it from here. So I'm going to use a public repository, and as here for this is a free tier account, so apparently I have one private repository. That changes, but I don't need this to be private. I want it to be public. So I'm going to now create it, and I'm not using any of the build settings here. I'm going to do this all manually. So now I have my my repository set up, and now I'm going to use it. So this is similar to setting up a repository on GitHub or GitLab. You have to set it up first before you can use it with your app. So now let's switch to the terminal and play around with the app. So if you remember, we have the Docker file here that we used to build the app. We started with an Alpine image, so if that's not available, it would have been downloaded. And then we add a layer for a label with my information in it. And then I install AskEquarium as the next image, the next layer in the image. And then finally, it should launch AskEquarium for me. So what I need to do is I need to build it with the tag that is associated with the application that the repository that I just added. So we're going to do that now. So let's have a look at the images that we've previously built. And there you can see I called it AskEQ last time, and I have this image available. So let's now see, I'm going to have to rebuild it with that tag. So what I'm really doing, since it's already built, is I'm going to use the existing images and the existing image ID. I mean, I don't have to do it, but that Docker daemon will do that for me. So Docker build, I'm going to give it the tag Trisha AAQ that I created on Docker Hub. Oops, Docker build. I forgot the dot. So it has to pick up the Docker file from the current working directory. So there what it did was, this was really fast because these layers already existed. So it can share layers and it can do all kinds of things. But if we look here at what's running, sorry, what images are available, it's not running yet. So here we have Trisha AAQ. And notice it's the same image ID because it's using all the same layers, and it's quite small, 43 meg. So now just to be sure, I'm going to run it. Oops, I forgot the terminal. I forgot to put the terminal at the right spot. So there we go. We know it's working. So now what I want to do is push it to Docker Hub. But in order to do that, I need to authenticate against Docker Hub. So if I were try to push it now, it says, well, it's got all of these layers. It knows where to refer to it, but it says requested access is denied. So what I need to do is I need to use Docker login and use the credentials that I use to log into the website. So it's Trisha. Okay, don't look. I'm going to type in my password. That was a joke. So what it does is it stores my password in here. So we probably should use a credential helper if we're doing this a lot, but for our purposes, this is fine. So now I should be able to push because it's going to use the credentials from there. So let's see what happens. So pushing, pushing, pushing. It's sharing something from another system. And now it's pushed it to Docker Hub. So let's see what it looks like on Docker Hub. So I'm going to reload it. And here we see it. We pushed up an image recently. I'm going to leave the vulnerability scanning off for now, and I'm going to update this eventually, I should say. So watch soothing fishies. Docker run AAQ. So, and I can use Markdown. So notice there's my Markdown. Maybe I'm going to put this on the same line. It doesn't really matter here, but I'm a bit specific about these things. So now I'm going to update it, and now I also have a public view. So this is the view that I see because it's my repository, but there's a public view. So this is what the public will see. Watch soothing fishies. You can use it this way. So, and they can also pull it. So part of the run is an implicit pull. So I just built that on here, but I want to run it on Windows. So I don't have to, I should be able to run it directly from Windows. So let's pop up a Windows box. So what I want to do, and notice I didn't need to give it anything. This is a standalone application. Docker run, what did I call it? Trisha AAQ. So this should download it from the Docker Hub and run it. So it couldn't find it, pulling. So it has one layer that already exists. That's probably Alpine. Downloading, download complete, extracting. Error opening terminal, I forgot to put the T in there. There we go. So since I have it on Docker Hub, I can run it from anywhere. So I can, anywhere where I have a container engine, I can run it. And I didn't need to build it. I didn't need to install software. I have my image already. So this is how you would deploy applications. You would put your application on the image, make the image available, possibly not a public image, but make the image available, and then just use Docker run to get to it. So bye-bye fishies, nice to see you. I just killed it. And then if we have a look at what's going on in Docker on my local window, it will have downloaded that image. If I go to images here, here's the image that I just downloaded. It says created about 6 hours ago. That's probably the time sync between my system and wherever Docker Hub is running. Whoops, don't need that. But here's my image, and it was running as a container before. It's not running now. This hasn't updated. Let's get it, restart it. It just exited. Okay, so let's see if it's running. No, it's not running. So I'm not really sure how that interacts with this kind of app when you're using that this on Windows. But I can run it from anywhere where I have the Docker engine running. I can run my app from here. So that's it. That's pretty simple. Good luck.